Hello, guys. It's Brittany and Jen again from Ambition After Hours, and today you are in for a treat. But before we jump into that, I want to introduce you to my guest today, Lindsay. We met networking, and I'm so excited to have you on the pod. How about you jump in and you tell everyone who you are and what your background is? Because I think our ladies are really going to love it this season.
Awesome. Well, I'm so excited to be here. So, Brittany, you and I met through our networking event. And as we're talking about our businesses a little bit, we started getting back into that history. And, business journeys are not always in a straight line. So, I'm in my second career now. I work with Edward Jones as a financial advisor, but I was not always in this world. I was a golf pro for just about 20 years and spent a lot of time teaching and coaching women. Now I get out to play as often as I can, usually with women, and we really bonded over that and created this opportunity.
Yeah. And for those of you who don't know or haven't listened to the podcast before, Ambition After Hours was founded on the golf course. So to have Lindsay on, it comes full circle for us to give you some golfing tips and tricks and, just talk about women in golf because it seems to be a trending thing nowadays, but it wasn't always that popular.
No, no, it wasn't.
Exactly. But before we jump into the episode, we do this thing on Ambition After Hours called High Low. So basically, I'll ask you a high about your week and I'll ask you a low about your week. But Jen, why don't we start with you and your high to show her how it's done?
So since this podcast is about, women in golf and golf in business and those kinds of things, I will share that yesterday, my high for the week is yesterday I won ladies longest drive at a golf tournament, which is very exciting for me. That's never happened before. And now I have a cute little push cart that I can use. And I no longer have an excuse to not walk because I usually cart. So I'm sure it'll be good for my health.
And congratulations again. It was great to see you win that. That was an awesome drive.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. And Lindsay, so now that Jen has shown you how it's done, tell us about a high about your week.
Okay, well, I'm going to stick with the golf theme because I'm feeling super golfy because I golfed twice this week, which doesn't happen all that often. So I play in a ladies league on Monday nights at Colonial, and then I got out for another game at River Ridge. I saw your podcast sign on the tee box there. So two 9-hole games this week. So that is always a high when I'm on the golf course more than once in a week.
Oh my God, I love that. I had a high originally. I was going to talk about how the weekend is here and I plan to sleep in, but my new high is that you've seen our podcast sign on the golf course. It's so great when people, like when we're in the wild and people are like, hey, I listen to you guys, or hey, like I know who you guys are. So thank you so much for that. But Jen, now is your favorite part. Why don't you tell us your low?
Before I say the low, I just want to say to all of our listeners, if you're ever golfing at River Ridge and you're at the forward tee box and you see our sign, please, please take a picture and tag us. We love that. We love to see women out golfing. Think it's such a great sport. My low is also tied to golf. So shortly after, I want to say like 3 holes after I was driving like a rock star, my game completely effing fell apart. And usually I can get my shit together in a couple of holes, but I was like a bag. I was so mad at the sport. I was like, that's it. My clubs are going on Facebook Marketplace. This is the worst I've ever played in my life. And so I was a bag for like a solid, I want to say 6 holes, which is a long time for those of you who golf. You know that.
Yes. So as someone who had to sit in the cart with Jen on that low,
I was a dream.
she was a real treat for 6 holes. She's lucky that she's my best friend and I put up with her because I was like, girl, I'm going to kick you out of this cart.
To be fair, when I get angry, I do walk a lot. Like I just like can't, I just like walk. I'm like, I'm gonna walk it off. I'm gonna walk it off. Anyway, so I would love your tips on being a more resilient golfer because obviously I could super learn a thing or two about that.
Well, you know what? We all have our ups and downs with golf. But Lindsay, what was your low this week?
Well, first I'll say, so when I played at UBC on the golf team for a year, and my golf coach, who I love, we're still in great contact now. She used to say we had the 3 second rule. So you had 3 seconds to react to whatever your golf shot was, good or bad, and then you had to carry on. You couldn't have yourself a little pity party or celebration. So maybe that will help you. So I did hit my ball into the river, but 3 seconds has long since passed, so I am not going to dwell on that as my low for the week. But I got into it with Chat GPT this week. I thought I would use it to help edit some slides. I had to do a couple little. So I was like, this will be easy. I'm not good at graphic design. It's going to be way faster for me to just leverage some AI. And it wasn't. I was typing in prompts like, you're not listening. This looks terrible. Why can't you do what I'm saying? And I don't really think those are the types of prompts that optimize your Chat GPT results. So I felt a little silly and I had a little pity party after it. It finally worked, but it was not a shortcut at all.
You know what? Sometimes people think AI, like will be the answer, but really sometimes it's not.
No, do not recommend for that project.
I also get it's so relatable that you got mad at your Chat GPT because sometimes I feel like you're supposed to be the smartest machine out there.
Right?
Why do I have to feed you
Yeah.
all of this information?
Yeah, why don't you just know?
Yeah, no, I can relate totally. My low this week is I put sunscreen on my face yesterday, but I didn't put it on my shoulders, and I am suffering. I know it doesn't look it right now, but I am suffering from the worst burn on my shoulders known to man. My girl who does all my Botox and stuff, she's always like, wear your sunscreen, wear your sunscreen. So I'm sure she's gonna listen to this and be like, I told you. So lesson is put sunscreen in your golf bag because you'll need it.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
So I'm nursing it right now is what I'm saying.
I'm sure it'll turn into a beautiful tan for you. I'm going to send that energy to you right now.
Yeah.
So today we're talking about golf and women's golf in particular. And what I love about this topic is I think we're super passionate about gender equality in the business world. And I think for a long period of time or up until recently, this sport was a place that women necessarily didn't go often, didn't feel comfortable going or learning the sport. But a lot of business gets done on a golf course. Like, when do you get 4 hours of your best client or your potential vendor or your referral partner's undivided attention and to do a shared experience together, which really helps build a relationship? So I'm excited about sharing with our listeners how they can get into this awesome sport in an unintimidating fashion and kind of, how to golf and do business. So, Lindsay, why don't you tell us a bit about your background and how you got into golf?
Yeah, you bet. So I started golf when I was a teenager. My parents played in a golf tournament. They're like, "This is the best ever. We're going to do this as a family." And they shipped me off in some lessons, and I ended up joining the local golf course. And I was the only girl, and there was 50 boys, and I was 13, and 14. And so I was like, this is the best thing ever. I'm going to learn to play golf, and I'm going to keep up with the boys and create it. I ended up working at the golf course, and it was really motivating. I considered myself like an athletic person ish. I liked sports and I had a good attitude, but I wasn't really naturally athletic. So golf kind of let me improve without having to be dependent on other people, like a team sport. And yeah, I think the boys at the golf course helped too, as you're trying to keep up and impress and do all those teenage things.
Yeah, no, for sure. So when you first started in golf and started your journey there, what was the culture around women in golf or in that, because now it's totally different.
Yeah, there was not a lot of women. There was a handful of women golf pros. I'm from BC and even just across the province. So you didn't have a lot of representation of people that were teaching golf lessons or working in the industry. And there just wasn't even as many opportunities. I did see a shift. This is kind of, mid 90s. There was a shift in US scholarship legislation, and which created more opportunities for women to play golf and have that fund their education. And I think that's when a really big shift started to happen. But you definitely saw way more men at the golf course than women. And then the women would keep to themselves and weren't necessarily a part of that larger culture, I would say.
That's super interesting. And interesting that it happened as early as the 90s in the US, because I don't know that it happened here, but maybe I just wasn't as involved. But so cool. So as we just heard in my high and my low, golf can teach you so many things about yourself, good and bad. So lessons do you have from being a golf pro or from learning the sport of golf or going through the challenge that is golf that you use outside the course with you in your regular life?
Oh, yeah. And I think when we think about golf and what it takes to be golf, it's easy to get into the weeds and the details. You need this particular swing thing and you've got to shoot that particular score. But to be a golfer is quite a bit of a wider scope than that. You need to have the right mindset and you need to have some different strategy. And, sometimes at the end of the day, it's not just about the score, but it's about that wider experience and being intentional with your time. And I think that as I improved with golf and then played at a higher level, those elements became a little bit more clear. I was grateful for the time that I could spend on the golf course with the good people around me. And if I three putted, oh well, really, that's not the end of the world. And I kind of had to let that go a little bit. And I think that golf can teach you that you're not just the product of your score. We all make mistakes, and how you manage those is probably more important, and the resilience that comes after that.
I
Oh my
heard you
God, I
say,
love it.
I love it too. I heard you say being intentional with your time, and I've never heard anyone talk about that as it relates to golf. So I'm just curious what you mean by that.
Oh, so it takes a long time to play golf. How long were you at that golf tournament yesterday, right? So you know, I like to play golf with people that I want to spend my time with. And if I'm spending time at the golf course, that means I'm not doing something else, right? I'm not spending time necessarily with my family. I'm not necessarily spending time on my business. So I should be happy with what I'm doing. And if I'm not enjoying golf or in the right mindset to take away the positives from it, then you're probably there for the wrong reasons. So being in the moment and being present, I think, is what I take to mean of being intentional.
Such a great lesson that I obviously need to practice, which I think only because it's so hard for me is why I was attracted to the sport. Um, was there a moment where golf for you really changed and you thought, oh, this might be a career for me?
Yeah, I played as a junior golf. I went as a junior golfer. I went down to the US. I played for a really small school in Alabama on a scholarship for 2 years, which was amazing, but also really far away from home. So transferred back and played at UBC for my third year, and kind of had this moment where my dreams of being an elementary school teacher were not going to come together. I wasn't really loving my school, and I needed to make a decision. And this same golf coach that I mentioned, we had such a great relationship, and my experience at UBC in golf was phenomenal. And I shifted. I was like, I'm not going to teach kids in school. I'm going to teach women how to play golf and kind of embrace that industry and see that opportunity because there was so few women that were in that space. There was yeah, one of those chances where being a minority was hugely beneficial.
No kidding. So you've experienced both golf on a professional level and and like you're in business. What is like the similarities between the two? Because I think they definitely correlate.
Oh, so many. I had no idea that golf and finance and business were going to have so much in common. And it's easy to think about those details, like we said, like those swing mechanics or the specific product that your business is offering or that service. But that's really only one part of what you actually do. So much more of every business is relationship driven. And how do you make people feel? How do you make connection? How do you build trust? And that is so transferable across so many different industries. And I think when you lead in that people first area, you can see success even when the details are a little bit different.
But yeah, no, I love that. Um, Do you think women experience intimidation similarly to golf as they do in business? Because we know that running a business for a woman is a lot different than running a business as a man. Um, Tell me your like gut check on that.
Oh, I 100% agree. Um, I think when I go to play golf with new ladies, like I did last night, and the first thing people say is, "Oh, I'm not very good," or "I don't think I'm good enough to be here." They're trying to equate that skill level with belongingness, and being a golfer doesn't mean shooting even par. Like, being a golfer is being a part of that ecosystem and playing the game and engaging. And I think we discredit ourselves and think that we have to be very, very skilled to belong in that space. And we've kind of have some notes here about confidence and how much it is to not feel confident in a space if you are not extremely proficient or the best at it. And I think as women, we give that too much power. We have a right to belong in so many spaces, and we need to kind of own those spaces, including on the golf course.
You know what? I love that you talked about confidence because I read this stat a while ago that like men will apply for jobs that they do not qualify for, but women, like, even though they have some of the qualifications, won't apply for the job because they are missing like one of the qualifications.
You know what else I love about what you said is it's so different because I talk to my clients about golf. I talk about golf a lot because, I was just about to say, even though I'm not very good, I love the sport. But when you go and you talk to men about golf, they're much more willing to express confidence in themselves or like how well they play the game or how often they play the game or which parts of their game are the best, like, oh, I'm a great driver or whatever the case may be. And then when you speak to women about golf, even women who are very proficient at the sport, the first thing we want to do is say, you know, if I don't know if it's a modesty thing or a confidence thing, but we definitely want to say, like I say all the time, which I should stop saying if I ever want to get better, I suppose, is, oh, I'm not very good, or, I'm just there for the sunshine, or, to discount or discredit how we show up in the game, which I think is very parallel to what Brittany just said, that, men will apply based on their confidence and women will apply based on the skills they've already proven to themselves. And just that shows so much about how we approach this and even this sport.
I think you're exactly right. And when I kind of think about that, like when I'm playing with new people, I'm very concerned about their experience. I want them to feel comfortable. I don't want to put them in a position where they think they shouldn't be there because I have been golfing longer. So I want to downplay a little bit. And it's that humble, I think, but from a position of I want your experience to be the best. And as opposed to, I think that, traditionally some men can be like, I'm great. I'd love to tell you about it. And that kind of happens sometimes in business. It can happen in sport, generally speaking. But I do think it's kind of, sometimes that maternal nature that we have to just take care of all of those people around us and make sure that they are in comfortable in that environment as well.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. Because when I think about like inviting a newbie to golf or something, I always maybe I don't know if I want to downplay my skill, but I do like be like, oh, don't worry. Like, we're just there to have fun. Like, we're not taking, which we are. We don't take anything very seriously except for Jen. She takes her golf very
Okay,
seriously, obviously.
let's settle
Um,
down.
but I think that's so true in like wanting to make people feel comfortable where a guy will go out and they don't care how you play. They're worried about their game and their game only, so they're just like, yeah, come, right?
So, what do you think makes the sport more intimidating for women to get into than it is for men? Because really, we all start with the same skill level, and it's not a sport where you have to be, big, tall, strong to be really proficient at it. So, where do you think that barrier is? What do you think it makes it intimidating for beginner women to get into the sport?
I think that being at the golf course is sometimes like stepping into a different universe. There's a lot of unspoken rules, there's etiquette, there's a lot of jargon. And if you haven't, like maybe you haven't watched golf on TV or you haven't had any sort of exposure, the whole thing can feel a little bit more intimidating. And just those uncertainties around it. And I don't know if like women again just pick up on that just a little bit more, where we're concerned that we're wearing the right clothes, are we standing in the right space? Like there's so many layers to that, that I think just amplifies some of that confidence. Even now you haven't even layered any skill onto it, as well, right? Like I still feel when you go to new places or you're not exactly sure where to go, or the first tee jitters, those kind of things, you still, even this many years later, I still feel those. But when you're going to that very unfamiliar space for the first time, it just feels like there's so many things that are unknown about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? I have to agree. And for like us ladies, the outfit is everything, right?
Yeah.
Like even when we go out with our friends, we're like, "What are you wearing? Like, tell me what you're wearing." So like, yeah, to have step into a whole new world that you really don't know anything about, and still try and show up, you know, on par, quote unquote. Um,
Fabulous.
it's pretty intimidating for sure. So what do you think, or like, what is some advice you would give to those women that are like really terrified to start golf because they don't really know what to expect?
So, coming from being a person that taught a lot of golf lessons, I would
Right.
recommend that someone takes golf lessons. So, as in so many different aspects of our life, working with a professional will expedite the process. They will teach you the things that you need to know and give you that basic skill so that you can feel confident getting started. So, investing in yourself to get those initial skills, I think, can really go a long way. And when we talked about being intentional with your time, go with people that you want to be around. If your first foray into golf is that corporate golf tournament where you're paired with people that you don't even know, that's going to be an amplified, intimidating experience, because you're not even going to naturally, or you're not are not necessarily going to get that natural support. So go with people that you feel comfortable with, that are going to give you some of that support and help you learn the ropes. My experience is that women golfers are so welcoming, so supportive, and they want more women to play golf. So we do our very best to cheerlead those along and set them up for success. So throw it out into the universe. I'm looking to get into golf. Who else is learning? Who else wants to start on this journey? And you'll be surprised how many people were waiting to be asked and are like, hey, I'd like to start too. Maybe we can take some of these lessons together. And now you're creating a bit of accountability, you're expanding that support network, and it can really get you on your way for being a golfer.
And
Yeah,
that's
and
your metaphor for life. You have to ask, right? You have to ask,
Yes.
hey, I want to get into this sport. Who do you know that can help me with that? So many life and golf lessons we're learning here today on the podcast.
Yes,
yeah,
good call
I
out.
love
Good
it.
call out.
So then what do you wish, like, because you've probably, given tons of tips to tons of ladies. What do you wish is like one thing that they've understood about golf, or like they understand about golf?
So, first of all, like, so I love, my favorite golf tip from a like technical point of view is to have good balance. Get yourself nice and steady when you get started, and that's going to make things progress ever so nicely. But from a mindset point of view, Jen, you can think of this one too, is show yourself a little grace. It's so easy to have, our one amazing shot or this long putt or our best ever round, and to put so many expectations on ourselves. And then, golf is humbles us, and then we're always going to have some of those shots that aren't amazing, we're always going to hit it into the water or three putt now and again. And so give ourselves a little bit of grace. Not very many of us are out there practicing all the time or training intensively with our golf swing, and it's okay to have a bad hole. But if we let that snowball, oh, then it's 6 holes and we're still maybe having a hard time getting it together. But if we show ourselves a little grace, it's like, oh, okay, I made that little mistake. Let's get back on track. I'm human, and kind of carry on with things. I think that we tend to be better for the remainder of the round.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair. I don't think Lindsay's pointing fingers at anyone, Jen, but I'm pretty sure she's talking about you.
The thing is, one of my husband's friends actually said this to me, and it made me so irritated because he's such a good golfer, but it turns out that he's actually right. I was talking to him about, like, I've been playing for a while, and and for a long time, I didn't feel like I was getting any better. And he said two things to me. He said, first, are you practicing every single day? Are you, playing 100 rounds a year? If not, then you have no right to have expectations that you're going to hit every shot pretty good, because you're not making it your job, so you can't compare yourself to people who are. And then the second thing that he said to me was, you know what, Jen, if you would just have more fun, you would play better. That's why you're not, I really want to break 100. He said the only reason why I'm not breaking 100 is because you need to have more fun. And it's totally true, right? It's that resiliency, that mindset shift that you were talking about. And I struggle with a bit of perfectionism in my whole life, which I think is why I'm attracted to golf, because it really forces you to not be a perfectionist, because there's no such thing as perfect in golf.
Yeah.
There just isn't. So anyway, I completely agree with that. And I agree with the call out, Brittany. After those 6 holes of hell yesterday, I richly deserve it. But yeah, I totally agree that, like, if you're not having fun, what are you even doing? And I think that is going to be my next swing thought after everything I do. Hey, if you're not having fun, like, why are you even here?
Yeah, yeah. I have one more really great one. So my golf coach, man, she's getting all these call outs. So one of the favorite things that she also used to tell us was fake it till you make it. And I think this probably is going to link it all right back to that business sense too. So when things are kind of going awry on the golf course, or we're having tough time in business, sometimes you need to fake that confidence until you can really feel it on the inside. And when you talk to yourself, okay, I got this, I'm going to be able to do it, I've done this before, and you just act like you're confident, it's amazing how much the ducks fall in line and things are going to come together. So there's also, as you're feeling, you're going to break 100, that I'm very certain of. And that can kind of move us through those moments when we haven't really built all that confidence yet, but we need to act like it.
Yeah, fake it till you make it. That's
Make it till you
such
make it.
yeah, that's such a good metaphor for life, really,
Mhm.
because we're all really just faking it until we figure it out.
I feel like that leads us to my next question, though, because Lindsay, you've been golfing for a long time. Do you have a story for us about how golf had unexpectedly led you into, like, a great business opportunity, or you met someone that it just snowballed? Because we talk about golf and networking all the time, and I swear my staff probably thinks, like, oh, she's networking, she's golfing, but, like, it really can happen.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think probably the easiest answer is I met my husband on the golf course. So it's super cute. We were paired together at a golf tournament. He ended up winning the golf tournament. We started dating afterwards. And so golf certainly provided me a whole lot of benefit in that area of my life. So that's been huge. But even in that business sense, I'm fortunate that I do kind of stand out on the golf course a little bit. There's not a lot of women that maybe hit it a little bit far and have this kind of setup. I always make sure I got my cute golf dress and my outfit on point. So I do feel like it's led me to be able to meet some people on the golf course and kind of generate some of those relationships when we're in a space that we do feel confident with. I think that opens up opportunities. But yeah, meeting my husband, that was a good thing that came out of golfing for sure.
Can I ask you how far you typically drive?
So I probably in like the 240 range,
Wow.
maybe.
Oh, whoa, that's crazy.
I have a question on you now. I mean, I already did, because you were a golf pro, and you're in the world of finance now, and you're a lovely person to talk to, but holy crap, good for you.
Oh, thank you. Well, you know what? It's not it's biomechanics. So, I think we're going to get together in golf this year, but I'm pretty certain that you ladies also have the ability to crank it out there pretty far. I mean, you're a long drive champion. That's what I just heard earlier.
To full disclosure, there were not a lot of ladies at this tournament. I, It's usually a bit more equal, even than I saw yesterday. Hey, Britt, like there wasn't a lot of ladies. So although I did have a lot of competition on my own foursome, and then I knew some other ladies that were there that were quite good, as well. Even a blind squirrel finds a nut every now and again, right? Isn't that how it goes?
No, we're not discounting our talents here. You
Oh,
smashed it and you earned it.
See, Lindsay, this is what I deal with every time we go.
okay. Let's move on, just for my own sake. Uh, what makes women focused golf spaces feel different? As you know, I'm trying to create a bit of a golf community. I always want to see women in golf. It's something I'm super passionate about. And so, just interestingly enough, like what makes a woman focused golf space feel different? How do we make it feel, yeah, what makes golfing with women feel different?
Yeah. I think that, we kind of mentioned earlier, women cater so much to how other people feel, and we're really often intuitive about that kind of emotional connection. And golf provides such an environment for support and for cheerleading. Like, even last night, people are like, you got this, or this is going to be great. And that was a great shot. Like, it's just inherently so supportive. And then when the conversation also goes into business, where you learn about these different things, we can naturally talk about some of those successes and champion those and be able to celebrate, and then talk honestly about the lows of the week too, and kind of offer the support in that area as well. So I think women are really great about taking that golf experience and taking care of the whole human package. We want to hit nice shots. It's super rewarding, but we want the whole experience to be fun, and we want everyone to be a part of things and kind of enjoy that moment. So I do find that women are so supportive and welcoming, so that new person knows that they belong there, and that they're welcome to join back next time too. It's not a one time thing. No, like, you're a part of this group now and we want you to keep coming back out.
So, do you
Awesome.
have any like advice for women who might be looking for a golf community? I mean, like obviously, like Ambition After Hours, we're always welcome to have you, but um if you didn't know about us, right? Like where would you tell them to look?
Yeah. So I mentioned I joined this ladies' night out at Colonial, and I didn't know anyone. I just joined on my own and kind of found new people to golf with each week, and I was amazed, which I shouldn't have been, but everybody was happy to help me like to be a part of that group or to have me in their group, and was really welcoming. So you just have to start. It's intimidating, but my experience is people want you there. We want more women golfing. These leagues are expanding. And by even not knowing anyone, there is an invitation to be a part of that. There's a number of different courses across the city. Funny enough, after our round yesterday, I kind of ran into another friend who does a similar thing. She has her little group of tea times, and they were half an hour after. So these kind of self-forming networking opportunities for women that want to get together in golf, there is a lot of them. So whisper into the universe that you're looking for that, because there's probably a lot more opportunities to join in than it might seem like on the surface.
Love that. And so excited for it. So to that, um, do you think that the golf culture has really like welcomed women in? If I'm new to the sport and I've kind of heard about, it's very male focused, all of those things. Do you think that that really has changed now in the golf world?
I'm going to say yes. The industry over the last, like 20 years has been really evolving. They're building younger golfers in. There's been more focus on junior development that was not just boys, but it was girls. So now girls have been playing golf since they were younger. So they've seen the representation, and now they are these younger professionals. So they've had that exposure that there's more women on the golf course, and the men that are out there are also really welcoming. They've grown up with seeing women alongside them as well. So it's not the old boys club that it might have been going back years past. And I think that overall it is a space where women are welcome. Golf courses have ladies nights, and they have ladies clothes in the shop and ladies equipment. It's there to be able to facilitate a really good environment, and they want us at the golf course.
Can I ask just one kind of fun question that I always
Oh
want?
yeah.
So I feel like for me and for some of my friends, golf is like a bit superstitious in that, for me, like I always have to be wearing a hat to play my best golf, or I feel like I always have to be wearing a hat, or, like we have our lucky golf outfit or like our, lucky piece of equipment or our favorite club or whatever. Do you have any kind of like quirks where you're like, every time I golf, I, wear my ball marker on this side or I whatever, and it just kind of like feeds into your I'm ready for golf now feeling.
Oh, I'm not super superstitious. I do mark my ball the same way all the time. So I have, I've got a couple Sharpies in my bag, some nice different colors, and I always put three little dots on there. So I don't know if that's kind of like part of that routine before I play. I also like to start with a new golf ball every time. So I will play it until it is road rashed and ugly. But when I start my round, I want it to be clean and shiny. So maybe those are a couple little quirks.
See, Brittany, it does matter to use a clean ball. Yesterday, she was using this ball that I'm sure had spent the better part of a couple of years in the water.
Oh no.
Like dirt all over it. My friend Jess and I are like, "What are you doing?" Finally, we just took it away and threw it into the rescue.
Was hitting so good with that ball though. Like I was like, my shots are so great. Okay, we have a couple of like little rapid fun questions for you if you're up for it, Lindsay.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, what is something even experienced golfers struggle with?
Oh, first tee jitters. When you're out in front of the pro shop and there's people watching and if you're like me, you probably didn't warm up at the range, so you're not really sure what that first swing is going to look like. And you it feels like everybody's watching, even though I know nobody cares and nobody is actually watching. But the fact that you're really concerned what other people might think of you, I don't think that that ever really goes away. Those first tee jitters.
Yeah, and then you skull the ball and you're like, oh, great. That's it, right? What is the biggest beginner mistake women stress out about?
Oh, probably along the same lines. And that's like worrying that other people are going to care a lot about their quality of golf. I want to play golf with someone who's a nice person, is paying attention so that we can kind of keep up a little bit, but they're genuinely just fun to be in that group. I want you to play well because I know that's going to make you feel good, but your quality and skill is not going to affect my day. And it's easy to think that that skill level is going to be that important. So you need to let that go, be a good person, pay attention so that you know when it's your turn, and that's enough. That's all you need to be a good golfer.
Yeah, you know what? I think people get concerned that like we're worried about their game, but like we're already just like trying to
Yeah.
survive ourselves out there on the green. So like we're really not looking at anyone else's game.
Yeah.
For sure. And since we've talked so much about my meltdown yesterday, what's the most relatable golf meltdown that you've witnessed?
Well, I think it's hilarious when the PGA Tour players, so these are, best in the world and they're amazing. And then, the shots that make the blooper reels, like they make mistakes too. And I find those to be so comforting, right? These little ones where I think there was one of the, might have been Justin Thomas maybe, missed this short putt and has these expletives coming out there. And I'm like, I was like, that's relatable right there. You can be in the top in the world and still make these mistakes. You said earlier, golf isn't about being perfect. And despite us putting those expectations on ourselves, seeing other people, I don't know, misery loves company maybe, but it humanizes things a little bit and be like, oh, perfect. They can miss things too. Certainly I can go easy on myself as well.
No,
Yeah.
that's fair. Okay, so and last one before Jen does her famous wrap up. Fill in the blank. Golf became more enjoyable for me when I stopped.
Oh, putting high expectations on myself. I was the same thing, you've got this history, you're a golf pro, you play, I had played and practiced lots, and then I didn't. Like, I don't like to go practice now. And yet, so I need to let it go that I'm going to be the best that I've ever been. And it was a lot more fun when I just followed my own advice and was there to just have fun. So it really is good advice, Jen.
Amazing. Thanks, Lindsay. So where can people just like connect with you if they really resonated with today's podcast?
Yeah, so I'm on LinkedIn. You're welcome to connect with me there. Open invitation. If you want to go golfing, let me know. I'm always looking for new communities to be able to join in golf. And, don't tell me, oh, I'm not very good. Just say, I'm a fun person and I'd like to golf. And that's all I need to take you up on that offer. But LinkedIn's probably the best place to find me.
Okay, you heard it here, guys. No negative self-talk. I'm going to throw it over to Jen. She likes to do a recap of every episode, so hit it, Jen.
Yeah, so I think I personally learned a lot from this episode, and as I'm sure all of our listeners did. So I'm going to say my top 3 takeaways were the 3-second rule. I think it's so huge in golf, and I'm going to practice it in golf, but I think it's also huge in life, right? We put so much vision on our failures and not enough vision on our success, maybe, but if we give them both 3 seconds and then move on, how could that be a bad thing? The other takeaway that I love for both golf and for life is fake it till you make it. We're all just figuring it out, right? And if you fake confidence, eventually you'll have the skill to be confident. So fake it till you make it. And I think the third takeaway for me is just ask. If you want to golf, just ask. That's how I got into the sport. Someone just asked, and I was like, oh, hey, I think I'll try it out. So for all the women out there who see golf and think, hey, that might be fun, just ask. And there will be another woman that loves golf that will say, hey, come golf with me. You heard it just now on the podcast. So just ask and come golf with us.
All right, guys. So that concludes this episode of Ambition After Hours. You can find us online on our website, Ambition After Hours, or on YouTube or Instagram at Ambition After Hours. Thanks, guys. We will be back soon with another great episode.
Later, leaders.
Awesome.